You ready?
Ready. Audio sound good?
Yeah, hang on.
Good evening to you. Hello, here's my signal. You're at about 10:01. USS North America.
All right, welcome in, everybody. It is Field Day 2020. Even though it's been a dumpster fire of a year, we're going to try to have some fun on the radio. Welcome in, Marc N4UFP. How are you, sir?
Hey, living the dream, dumpster fire or not. I was out on the bands a little bit, and what amazed me, I was on 6 meters and 10 meters, and there 6 meters for a while had a lot of activity. There's tons of activity on 10. Guess where it is?
FT8.
Yeah.
I've been on FT8 since we started on 15 and 40. It's been pretty good.
Yeah. I've had some commentary recently from folks who believe that FT8 shouldn't be allowed in contests, and I actually operated a contest basically exclusively FT8, the June VHF QSO party, and got about half as many contacts as I normally would have. So I don't think anybody has to worry about FT8. It works, it's great, but you can make a sideband contact or even a CW contact in a whole lot less time.
You can, but it's like getting ready for this. I was building some graphics and redoing the intro and all that while we was running FT8 and all that was processing. It's really taxing the computer, but it seemed to handle it okay because I got it done in pretty much record time. And a lot of stuff happening here right before we came online. So we got a couple people. Let's get John. Let's get them on. All right, let's roll this, and we'll be right back with them. All right, we got a couple of guys with us.
I'll tell you, Jim, that looks like field day right there. He's got that hat on, and looks like they're outside someplace. I see Tammy jumped in. Tammy, John, good to talk to you again. So, Jim,
how's everybody?
So John, I think John and Jim are actually using their cell phones right now, so there might be a little delay with them. However, they're here, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So we know it really does work with cell phones. That's good news.
Yes,
it does.
Jim, where are you to this afternoon?
I'm in Quinby, South Carolina. I'm representing the Florence Amateur Club. I think I may be the only outside operator. There's a couple other operators here, Tommy and Jay. I think they're operating inside on 1D. I'm a 1 Echo, 1 Echo portable, I guess, since I'm in my backyard. But y'all are putting on a great show. I love the graphics and the intro, and this is cool. Unfortunately, I'm getting used to doing these kinds of conferences for the medical side, the COVID side. But this is nice. This is really great. Good change.
Well, I'm getting used to it too. A day doesn't go by at the office. Well, not at the office. I'm working out of home. I'm on Zoom meetings constantly. It's the way of life. And we knew we couldn't make field day visits this year, so we decided we were going to take a big jump out of the box, try something different. And I got an email from Ronnie this morning, and he wished he could have had a little bit more notice, but it didn't hit us until yesterday. So
okay,
to pull this together, we'll do better next time. Anyway, let's see. We got John, and of course, I think everybody knows our public information coordinator, N4TAL Tammy. What's going on?
They probably only know me through email.
You need somebody
Well,
with a field day shirt in this thing.
Yeah.
John, I see you and Steve. What's going on over in Rock Hill?
Well, we're at beautiful Westminster Park in Rock Hill with White Cars, York County Amateur Radio Society. And we are running 2 Alpha. We have 2 trailers out here. So we've got Steve's camper trailer, and then we've got the Fort Mill EMS trailer. So we're running 1 station in each of them. We've got a few club members out here social distancing. And so we're running 2 Alpha. We've made, I don't know, a couple hundred contacts so far. Mostly sideband, running on 20 and 40 right now. The antennas, we've got a 160 meter full wave delta loop stretched out over this field, and we've got a off center fed dipole. So that's what's going on out here in Rock Hill.
Okay. Well, that sounds pretty good. And I'll be looking for you guys a little later this afternoon. I was on 6 meters for a while, and I'll be down on 20 and 40 next. I do want to contact some people, at least in this half of the country. Let's see. Well, Jim, over in Florence, so you're operating essentially 1 echo outside, and how are the rest of the guys set up?
Okay. Well, I'm using my Kenwood TS2000, which is a very nice radio to operate portable, especially because I didn't have to carry it that far. But then I've got it into a buddy pole vertical. It's up about 20. Well, the feed point's up about 20 feet or so. I got 2 radials. Kind of worked on that last weekend and then improved it this weekend. So I've only made about 13 contacts, but I'm just enjoying hearing lots of activity on 40 meters. And I guess I'm not exactly rock bound, but in the old parlance, but I'm CW. I mean, I'm phone bound. I used to do CW. My wife, she probably wouldn't do CW now, but I wish she could come out here and work. But this African dust is bothering her. It doesn't seem to bother me. But I was wondering if that's changed any of the propagation, if that helped anything with your 6 and 10 meter contacts.
That's a good question. I don't think it's had much of an influence on 6. Most of the propagation on 6 today was either down into Florida or out into the near west, Echo Mike 10, 12, 15, Texas, Oklahoma. On the other hand, I haven't been on 2 meters or 432 in the past few days. It will probably have an impact up there. If nothing else, having more dust in the air changes the thermal properties of the air. It can, depending on the kind of dust, what color it is, it could either warm the air or cool the air. So there's always a possibility for inversion, and that creates some pretty exciting propagation, typically on 222 and 432. Those aren't really part of field day, so I probably won't mess with them much this weekend. But if nothing else, if we ever get some sun again, we're going to get some nice sunsets for sure. Tammy, are you at home, or are you what are you doing this afternoon?
I'm at home. We're a home station this year, and we have 2 stations on the other end of the house, and I can't operate while they're operating. So Ronnie and Dwayne, W4RWL and Dwayne N4LDL, are currently operating out of our home station, and I'm in my office on the opposite end of the house, just chilling because, 2 operators, 2 mics. I can't do anything until one of them wants a break. So I'm just kind of chilling out right now in my office.
Well, Tammy, let me tell you how that works here. My wife, is also a ham, W7LEE, and she likes contesting. And here's how it works. If she wants to do some contesting, she's on the air, and I have to sit on my hands and wait.
Good woman.
It's been that way.
She gets more contacts than he does.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you, she'll get on the air, and it's amazing. People that wouldn't hear us will hear her. We were in the 160 meter contest one night. I was up here with WH2EMF. It was about 11:30. We run a frequency for 2.5 hours, and we thought we'd worked everybody we could hear. Lee comes up, and I told her things had slowed down, and she said, "Give me the mic." And she grabs the mic and sits down, and call CQ contest twice. And all of a sudden, there's another pileup, and Bob and I are just looking at each other. It's like, what the heck just happened? She was in that chair for another 2 hours. I couldn't believe it. And near the end, it was, getting into the shank of the evening, and the band started to open in Europe, and she started working B's and EAs and F's and EIs. And, about 1:30 in the morning, she just handed us the mic. She said, yeah, I'm tired. I'm going in. It's like, okay, I'm done here. But yeah, if we're both operating, she operates first. It's better that way.
I'm the night owl of the family, so I tend to do, when we do joint operations, I tend to operate in the evenings, and Ronnie takes the earlier morning hours or the afternoon hours, because I'm a night owl. I'll stay up late and operate.
Well, Miss Lee used to stay up later than she does now. She's
Great.
Things have, she's had some challenges in the last couple of years, so she tends to operate during the day now. But if she gets on, she's got the killer instinct. She's just it's interesting. I just sit back and let her go, because there's no stopping her. I mean, you just let her go till she's done. Anyway, yeah, I was a little bit worried about the weather. It's overcast here, and I'm thinking, gosh, are we going to get rain? I don't know.
It just happened at like about 1 o'clock. Just a light cloud just covered up.
Yeah, no rain though.
No.
What are you guys, Jim? What are you seeing over in Florence? Is it still clear, or are you starting to get cloud cover as well?
No, actually, it's been overcast most of the day. Mid to late morning, it turned grayish. But I kept checking the radar. I said, "This better not be rain." I've got a group cover that I can throw over this setup if I have to. But unfortunately, the canopy that I'm under leaks, which I found out last weekend. So I had to do some scrambling last weekend. But right now, the good thing is it's a little cooler than I expected. It's only about 85, and there's a very nice breeze, but not too much of a breeze, so it's not stressing my guy wires. So I'm having a pretty happy day overall. I put up this buddy pole for the first time in 10 plus years, and I had to get some extra parts to make it work well on 40, and those guys shipped it from me from Oregon, and the mail ran 3 days from Oregon. I got deliveries mostly yesterday and a little bit more today, but I had a backup plan for today's parts, and I haven't had to use them yet. So, but anyway, it's the weather's great here for operating. A little humid, but it is South Carolina.
That's true. And
so back to you.
I just saw that we were joined by a double super Kabluna Hour Gonzo triple surprise mystery guest. It's Bill Marine, Vice Director of the Roanoke Division, N2COP. Bill, it is both a privilege and a pleasure to have you with us.
Well, what an introduction. Thank you, Mark. And good afternoon to all those Palmettoers out there who are pursuing Field Day. Really appreciate that. And greetings from the home QTH of mine in Wilmington, North Carolina, where I'm running one Echo this afternoon. And it's good to see you folks on there. I want to thank Mark and Brad and Tammy and all those who have put together this South Carolina section Field Day tribute. And thank you all for being on there this afternoon.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the good words, Bill. And it's just great to have you with us. I'm not even running one Echo this year. I'm a slacker. I'm running one Delta, mostly because my generator is noisy and my neighbors complain. So I decided I'd be a good neighbor this year.
Well, I have a generator that's noisy and neighbors I don't particularly like. So
fire it up.
It's a match made in heaven.
This is to make up for if you pardon me, their trips from North Carolina to South Carolina to get fireworks. They fire off at midnight to 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
Well, I think turnabout is fair play. They're just going to have to deal with that generator.
Yes. So I'm very tickled to see at least one outdoor field day activity taking place. So many across the whole Roanoke division were canceled or moved indoors. So hats off to everybody who was able to have an outdoor field day.
Well,
We actually got two with us. We got Jim's over there, and then the Y Cars guys, John. They're both outdoors.
Excellent. Good. And how are conditions? Not weather-wise so much, but band conditions are a little challenging here in North Carolina. I'm sure they are elsewhere in the HF bands.
Yeah, little challenging.
Yeah, up and down, a lot of up and down on 40 meters. I'm kind of stuck on 40, but it goes up and down quickly. So you can have somebody booming in here, and then by the time you get around to calling them, they're gone. So
yeah, a lot of QSB and a lot of operators, a lot of 1Ds, and I can tell you, I don't think they're running 100 watts. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I share that observation. I'm hearing a lot of weak signals this afternoon in my shack. But everyone's out there trying, which is what we're appreciative of.
Well, either way, it should be some astronomical scores this year if everybody's participating with the club, operating on their own, when all that gets summed together. So that should be something for the statisticians to see this big spike in the future.
Yeah,
years.
one of the things we did this year is the person who makes the most contacts from home, since they're not going to be out there, we've got a $25 DX Engineering gift card we're giving away.
Nice.
I like that.
Very nice.
Very
nice.
good.
Well, Brad,
Yeah, we figured we weren't spending our money on the picnic here out there, so we'd use it to incentivize people to operate from home.
That's cool.
Very good.
Well, Brad, the conditions on the lower HF bands may be weird, but I started out field day on 6 meters, and it was open.
Well, imagine that compared to how it's been for the past couple of weeks. I see on Facebook, everybody's posting pictures of propagation in spots. It's into Europe and all that. So hopefully you're at least racking up some domestic points and not just working DX.
No, I didn't. There wasn't much DX on. It was a little late for Europe, but the band was open into Florida and also out Texas way. And I was running about 100 watts. And didn't have any problem making contacts. And then I went down on 10 meters for a while, where I'm not running a Yagi, I'm running a wire antenna, a ZF6B KW, and made a number of contacts on 10 meters. I was surprised by how much activity there was. Now, I suspect that'll all change as the sun gets a little lower in the sky. By sunset, it'll be 40 and 20, and that'll be it. But right now, I figured I'd leverage the opportunity to make contact on 10.
Yeah, when I was tuning around, starting at about noon, just checking everything out, slacking. I guess I should have done that yesterday, but and I started out. I just flipping through all the bands, and I already heard some FT8 activity on 10. 20 meters was it'd fill up the whole waterfall, and even after up to about 3 o'clock is pretty much when I bailed out to get ready for this. Everything was still, FT8 was hopping. So I haven't tuned around the sideband or CW portions, but FT8 is going to be a big player this year.
We've got several folks in our club that are trying their hand at FT8 during field day. And we've got we've got a handful of folks that are remote out at Sesqui State Park doing outdoor operations. And two of those are doing FT8, and then we have others doing voice out at Sesqui State Park this year. But the club is split. We've got a handful outside, and we've got a lot from home. So it's going to be an interesting year.
Well, nothing about this year is going to be normal. That's Brad described it as a dumpster fire, and that's pretty accurate.
Without a doubt.
That's the G-rated version of it.
It's a wonderful phrase. It captures the essence of the situation.
Yeah. And to top it all off, well, let's bring a dust cloud from the Sahara over. Why not?
Yeah. Well,
we got a pandemic. We got murder hornets. We got dust clouds. You name it, we got it. I mean, why wouldn't you?
The aliens arrive next month, Brad.
that
super volcanoes.
That's just the spoiled whipped cream on top of the 3-week-old ice cream that's been sitting in the driveway. It's just.
I don't know if any of you guys ever worked in the restaurant field or fast food or anything, but I worked at Carowinds, and you'd go behind these ice cream shops, and you're talking about the most god awful smell. It's nothing like ice cream that has been brought up to about 100 degrees and sat outside for about 3 days. Oh my God.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm going to move on. I have another video conference to run to, but thank you all for letting me join in, and all the best of field day to everyone in the South Carolina section.
Thanks, Bill. We'll be back here again tonight at
Thanks,
11
Bill.
p.m. So if you're still up, come say hi. We'll see you.
Will do.
Bill,
Thanks,
thank you.
everybody. Take care.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Bye-bye.
Take care, Bill.
All right, he's gone. Well, that was a surprise. He just popped up on, made a comment on Facebook, and I sent him a quick message that, hey, you want to join? He said, sure. So I said, well, why not?
Yeah, it was cool.
Well,
All right.
you know, I'm looking at what Jim. What have you got there?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
too. That's looking pretty cool.
I had to hold this up for posterity. My son got this for me for Father's Day. He got his technician license about 10 years ago, but he really hasn't operated much. He actually lives in Columbia. I should send him out to Centennial to do a little operating. But anyway,
Yeah.
this is by some guy, ham crazy guy. I got it off of Etsy. He ordered it for me. And anyway, it lights up. It has a touch. It's battery operated. Lights up. And it even looks good without the lights on. But anyway, I had to show it off.
That's really nice.
Yeah, I'm glad you
Very
did.
cool.
Put it in any picture, which makes it nice too. You can set it in, when I'm taking a picture of equipment or anything, then you don't have to fool around trying to tag it later. So it's pretty fun.
Very nice.
That's nice that your son got involved. I have 2 daughters, neither of whom have their license, although one of them has been around ham radio since she was in her early teen years, and she has helped us with field day on numerous occasions. That's another whole story. And one day I sat her down here and actually let her operate FT8. I was the control operator. She ran under my call sign, and she loved it. I couldn't get her out of the chair, but she hasn't found the time to take the 35 question test yet. Well, right now she's not working. She's a realtor, and things are kind of slow in Atlanta. So
Okay,
She needs something to do to keep her out of trouble.
Yeah,
that's right.
So I'm curious, John, you said you got a 160 meter loop up out there. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
What time are you guys going to move down to 160?
Probably when the sun goes down. We'll try and get down there and see if we get any propagation. This
Well-
thing, I modeled it before we put it up, and it's got some good gain on the high bands, and it's looks like it's going to be pretty good NVES on the on 160. So we'll see.
What modes are you planning on running on 160? Are all of them, or?
I don't know. We'll probably run CW, my guess.
Okay.
Maybe some sideband. We'll try it and see if anybody's out there, but we'll probably run. And we've got 2 stations. One's running dedicated sideband. The other one's kind of switching between digital, CW, and sideband. So we're just kind of moving around.
Cool.
well, I'll be looking for you guys on 160.
Okay.
I'm running a loop as well. I've got a vertical loop, and
Yeah.
I
Well, we're so
figured-
close, Mark. We
Yeah.
probably have one wavelength between us.
We
Yeah,
should be able to
on
do some ground wave.
That could be true. I'm thinking, actually, you guys are what? Maybe 5 miles away as the crow flies, something like that. Not much more than that.
If that. Yeah. No. Other side of the river from you.
Yep, we could work QRP on 160 and not have a problem, I think.
No,
Yep.
no, we're not working QRP.
Yeah. Well,
sorry,
guys,
Brett.
I gotta drop out. My phone's about to go, so I gotta
All right,
charge
man.
this thing back up.
Mine too.
Thanks very much for inviting me.
John?
We'll see you guys maybe
Jim?
at 11.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Talk to you then.
See you,
Jim,
We'll see you.
thanks for stopping by. Good luck with that buddy poll.
Okay, thanks a lot. And I noticed I'm down to 30% here on my phone, and that's risk
Yep.
with this business. But and I wish I could invite people over to hang out at my station, but I don't I don't trust them. They don't trust me to for some. And my wife doesn't trust anybody, so she's barely been anywhere in the last 3 months. So anyway, let's N4FJF is her call. And that's not too far from Tammy's call there. So she got hers back in the late 70s, though. I imagine Tammy's wasn't even born yet. She's so young, but but anyway, I should drop off and maybe try to make a few more contacts. So there's plenty of activity out there on 40, and it'll continue, like you said.
Jim's
and my son
been logged in since about 3:30, getting ready. So he's spent some juice out there on his phone.
All right, y'all take care. 73.
Thank
Good
you.
luck, Jim. Take care now. 73.
All right. And we'll do that. That's a little bit better. Wow. So that's a pretty good look for a few people. I got us through about a half hour. That's not bad. We said we were going to do this for an hour at 4 and at 11. Just we didn't know how much we'd hear back from guys, getting everything ready. And then, it's always nice, we're only into it 2 hours, and it'd be nice about 11 o'clock. People start getting in a groove. Everything kind of slows down.
Mm-hmm.
Checking out with some of the guys, just see how it's been going.
They'll have had supper by then, and they'll be ready for that second wind.
Yeah, I hope they've had supper by 11. It'll be time for a snack. Bless your Spartanburg, and the food's still out. There's still shrimp, ribeyes.
Let me tell you, nobody puts on a meal like the Spartanburg Club. Oh my God.
That one last year was pretty epic.
I need to check that out next year, if we're traveling next year.
Yeah, you really should. They really go all out. They do a great job with dinner, and they don't, after say an hour or so, it's not like they put it all away. You could show up there at 9 o'clock and it's there, baby. You could eat, and they don't miss dessert either. They have
Wow.
They have desserts plural typically.
Yes.
And they're all very tasty, and none of them have had any calories removed. So they're really good.
So is that something they have catered in, or do the guys cook and the ladies cook and they all just bring stuff like a huge potluck?
It is. It is a covered dish supper on steroids.
Wow.
And
last year they had shrimp. I was like, good God, why didn't we stop here earlier?
I mean, yeah. How often do you get shrimp cocktail at a ham fest?
Yeah, really.
The only thing I've seen that came close to that, for a couple of years, CDXA did field day in Chester County, South Carolina. One of their members, who now lives in Florida, Joe Barkley, KI4TZ, had a nice place in Chester with quite a bit of land. It was off of Highway 9. And they would go out there and run field day, and they had a couple of members that were chefs. Oh, I showed up at about 6 p.m. on field day, and one of the guys said to me, "So you're staying for dinner, right?" I said, "Well, I don't know." And he says, "Well, let me help you out. We got baked ziti," and he goes through the whole menu, And I said, "Yeah, I'm staying." I couldn't believe it. But, so yeah, people don't starve on field day. I can't.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tammy.
I was going to say I missed out on the what they used to say were the fantastic dinners that the Columbia Club used to put on, because they said that there was 2 Pauls that cooked all the time, and the 2 Pauls would put together a huge spread and do all the cooking, and they'd start during the day. Instead of operating, they were cooking, and it was all outside. And then you'd come and have steak and baked potato and all that stuff at 6 o'clock, and they'd invite all the families, and everybody would come eat. But I wasn't an operator back then, and Ronnie was fairly new to the club, so we missed all the good stuff. So we didn't get the steak dinners. But then we had about a 5-year period where we had a gentleman named Ramsey that lives in Calhoun County. But he would come down and join us wherever we were for field day, and he would have a smoker, and he would do barbecue ribs and brisket, and he would say, I'm doing the meat for the club, y'all do the sides and the desserts. And for that 5 years, we had, just fantastic food because he was bringing all this smoked goodness. But then he, divorced and remarried, and, a lot of things going on in his life. So he kind of dropped out, and now it's truly a potluck. And so we never know what we're going to eat any given year. Now, this year they're having Lizard Thicket deliver out to the folks that are at Sesqui. But we're home operation, so it's going to be whatever I throw in the microwave because I'm hoping to be on the air a little bit myself this year.
Well, one of the things I've tried to do every couple of years is go visit my wife's half sister and her husband. They are both hams. They live on a farm up in Ohio, about an hour and a half north of Columbus. They live between Columbus and Toledo. And we've cooked some pretty serious meals up there. One year, I made a low country boil because.
Ooh, I bet they love that.
Well,
they didn't know what it was.
Yeah, I mean, my wife told me to cook something for field day, so I drove down to Marion and picked up some shrimp and everything else. And one of the guys that was with us, KB4GFJ, Morgan Williams, he's a cook. That's what, when he was working, that's what he did. And so between the two of us, we made this big low country boil and all the fixins. And my sister-in-law and her husband really, they've never lived down south. This was something they'd never had before. And there wasn't a whole lot left. We had kind of a white knuckle moment at the end. The basket for the shrimp boil, the basket broke. So we didn't have a basket. And Morgan looks at me and in his Savannah drawl, he says, well, now that ain't really a problem. Y'all got this picnic table right here, and we'll just pour it through the picnic table, and the water will go on the ground, and we'll have a big pile of meat, a big pile of shrimp and fish, sausage, everything else, he said, right there in the middle of the table. And my sister-in-law was a tad skeptical. My wife was like, yeah, give me another beer. That'll be fine. And so we did that. We cooked the boil, and then we dumped it on the table. And that was okay until we were nearly finished. And my brother-in-law got this weird look on his face, and he said, there's something moving in that pile of food. I said, what? And I looked, and I could see a shrimp moving. And I thought, it's cooked. It can't possibly be moving.
And even if it wasn't cooked, its head was chopped off.
Yeah. Well, it turned out the shrimp was not moving. It was being moved. And what it was, my in-laws had 2 bull mastiffs. And one of them, Cooper, had crawled under the table and had, what he'd done, he stuck his tongue up through the hole that the umbrella shaft goes down into. And he was using his tongue to grab bits of sausage and things and pull them down and eat them. And I just...
That's hilarious.
Now, see, you would typically, I guess, in the true form is you'd lay the newspaper down on the table and then dump it on that. So I guess that, because the newspaper is more sterile than the wood table. I don't know. I guess the water has just been boiled. It's hot enough. It's going to kill whatever is on it.
That was his theory. He said, nothing to worry about. The damn water is so hot, it'll just kill anything on that table. And nobody died. We all survived. So it worked out okay. And the dog got fed too, which was even better.
Oh, I bet the dog loved it. Yeah, that was a great meal.
Yeah. The thing that I was surprised was that he would get that close to us because Cooper was a big dog and we have a Chihuahua. And Xena is not a big dog. She weighs less than 3.5 pounds. And she bit. Oh, my God. Look at that.
What say you, old Mark? Hey, Mark.
Well, I thought having Bill Marine as a mystery guest was pretty awesome, but that is nothing compared to this.
You are correct. It is your privilege.
Well, Ronnie, if you're here, who's running the other station on the other side of the house?
It's running.
Okay.
Wait, you don't want to know.
So why don't you?
Need to know basis only.
I understand. Let me guess.
We've
You
been
have
talking.
Tell them what?
Tell them what you've been doing.
FT8.
Yeah, it's what I've been doing this afternoon.
Pretty
Same
much
thing.
what I've been doing.
Not having too much luck. I'm having some.
Where I really had a lot of luck earlier today was on 6 and 10.
I went on 10 for a little bit. Yes, I did. You're right.
People were just banging it up like crazy on 10 meters.
Here's, what is this? 40 meters?
Okay.
Here's 40 meter FT8 waterfall. It's pretty busy.
Yeah.
It is pretty busy.
Yes, sir.
What about
what?
What about 10, Brad?
I don't know. I haven't tuned up to 10. It's just been sitting there. I could, and then it'd take about 10 minutes for that screen to populate like that. I'm doing this.
Y'all go back.
Okay.
See you later.
Ronnie,
No.
what about 10?
What he asked you a question.
What's that?
What about 10? What's going on 10? Have you been on 10?
Yes, I have. I've made a couple of contacts on 10
Very good.
just to see what was going on. I hadn't hit 6 yet, but
Mark's already been on 6. He said there's nothing there right now.
Okay.
I'm fixing to go visit the club. I'm going to jump on a motorcycle and go.
Not without me.
You better hurry up. Come on.
Well,
When
wait a
we're-
minute. Wait a minute. These motorcycles you guys have 3 wheels. Is that a motorcycle?
Yeah,
Yes, it is.
it's a spider, but it's all good.
It's got a spider and a regular
And
motorcycle.
a regular motorcycle.
You're talking about food at field day. Y Cars used to do this was before my time. Mark, I don't know if you were ever there, but did they do it out of Barnes' house and they'd roast a pig, a whole pig?
Yes. In fact, yes, they did. And it was delicious. The guy who did the pig roast was Doosan, KC4, KPJ. And this was.
No, KPJ is John. You had it right, KPK.
I have it right the first time. They were both club members, and always got them. Anyway,
Dusan Petrovic.
Dusan Petrovic. He was Serbian, and he had come over to the U.S. probably in the 1970s. What he would do, he would go out and buy a whole pig, and he would cook it in the ground. They would dig a pit out behind Barnes Marshall's cottage on Lake Wiley. They would dig an enormous pit, build a fire, let it burn down to coals, put the pig in there, and bury it.
And leave it for like a day or two, right? I mean,
Yeah, it takes about a day.
Yeah.
You know, Doosan would be out there till dark 30, and then he'd be back in the morning. The rest of us are putting antennas in the trees, and he's out there messing with that pig. It was delicious. The only thing that was, it got a little tense one year. My ex-wife is also a ham. Well, she may not be anymore, but she was at the time. And she liked to operate CW. So she, signed up to operate for an hour. And it was the first time she'd ever done field day. And she probably made, 20, 25 contacts. The field day chairman ripped her a new one. And not only, she never did field day again, she never went to a club meeting again.
Wow.
She wouldn't even talk to those people if they came by. She was livid. And I couldn't blame her. This guy,
No.
and it was Larry, Brad, PJ, W7PJ, or W7LJ. He went off on her, and why women shouldn't be in ham radio, and
If you knew Larry, that's kind of par for the course.
yep,
Not just because she's female, but just to people in general.
yeah. In fact, I think Larry thought he was the only person who should be in ham radio sometimes. But it was fun. One year I went and I had a puppy. I had a Springer Spaniel puppy, and Hillary didn't understand what a dock was. And she saw something. It must have been a fish or maybe it was a bird out in the lake. And she ran to the end of the dock thinking she was going to jump onto a solid surface. And she went right into the water.
Oops.
And she kind of went under and then realized what had happened. And her head broke above water. And she was out there swimming around. Once she figured out what water was, she was fine with it. But there was a tense moment there. Yes, that was probably back in the 1980s and maybe early 1990s when they used to do it out at Barnes's Cottage.
Yeah, I remember seeing pictures of it, but by the time I came along, they just had got that clubhouse built. So pretty much everything was done out there until sometime, was it, I don't know, 98, we talked them into going out in the field
middle
sometime. School. Yep. And that was actually my fondest field day memory was that one.
Yeah, Tammy, good call. We'll see if we can get some field day stories from anybody else.
Yep.
We kind of focused on field day food on this session, the propagation and the food, and maybe next go around when we get everybody together at 11, we can do their favorite stories or stories from today.
Well, we'll probably still be talking about food because they're going to tell us what all they had.
Well, that's true.
I was just thinking about that 98 field day. That was the field day where I spent the whole morning helping them set up. And then I had to leave. I was going to New York with Miss Lee and the girls to visit my sister. And we had, I think it was a 3:00 flight. So I went out early in the morning, helped them put up all the antennas, get the generator, everything ready at the Sullivan Middle School lot there. And then about 12:30, 1:00, I said, well, I'll see you guys later. And they said, where are you going? I said, well, I got to catch a plane in New York. I said, I'm not part of field day. I'll see you next week.
I think I had to work, and I came when I got off work, and I think I had the next day off, pretty sure, because I was there. I think I was there all night, and I don't remember if FD was there or if he left. Dale Mannheim was out there working CW about all night, and Doosan was there. I think we started just laying down on tables taking naps, but it was a good time, and that was back when I don't ever remember it raining for field day. It's not the case anymore.
No.
It rains every year for field day.
It has the past about 5.
Every year that I've participated in field day, it's rained. Every year. We get a storm, we get a monsoon. The year of the monsoon that's probably one of the craziest memories I have, because I thought I was going to get fried. I was standing in a field with water at least 4 inches deep, and the lightning was going crazy. And the only reason I was still standing out there is because we had a spouse of an operator who was out there in a wheelchair and couldn't get, out of the conditions. We're under a tent, we're dry, but we're standing. I'm standing in 4 inches of water, and I thought for sure I was going to get electrified. But I survived.
Well, that's a good thing. We're glad you didn't.
We're glad you survived, but not you didn't get struck by lightning.
Yeah, that was another field day memory. That was the food wasn't, that wasn't a food year. That was a memorable year because of the weather and that was a year we did primitive field day, and we just had it in a green space. It wasn't a park. It was outside of a mall. It was a green space on the side of a mall where you could see it on a major thoroughway where cars were passing by.
It's a good spot.
But it was, great PR, but holy mackerel, the weather that year was just insane. And we were exposed. We had tents. That was it.
Yeah, then you realize, if we're going to come out here with a big group, we need to have a better plan.
Well, it was also a hot year. And that was, you do a couple of primitive years like that where you have no AC, and then the third year or the fourth year after that, you're going, oh no, this year we don't want to go primitive. We want to do someplace where we have AC.
Well, you got to do it every once in a while to let the new members and the new hams experience what it's like when you got nothing.
Yeah. Well, that's the only way they're going to learn to set up the gear from start to finish. If you don't go primitive and they don't have to set up an antenna and they don't have to set up a generator and they don't have to operate on battery power or something else, they're never going to learn. So you have to have those primitive experiences so that they can learn it from the ground up, and they won't get that if you're always operating in a building.
And now that we've been hams 25 plus years, you can look at them and say, well, my first field day, the darn radio weighed 80 pounds and we had to drag it 2 miles uphill.
Both ways.
Set it up both ways. Somebody had to bring their bicycle to run the generator, to turn the generator to make the power.
Now, that would be a story. That could be a competition we could do.
We could just make the story up. I mean, let's not let hard work get in the way of a good story. Oh, damn.
That would be a great competition to do for like the SEQSO party.
Well, Tammy, why don't you get started on that? Let us know how that works out.
I need to. I really do need to. That would
in
be
February out in the cold. That'd be good.
It's not cold to me in February. In February, I'm wearing shorts, enjoying the weather.
Well, I mean, in Columbia, yeah, it's 20 degrees hotter in Columbia.
Yeah, it's no fun.
I'm originally from upstate New York. The people north.
You're a carpetbagging Yankee. We know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Watch out, or you'll have to tell that story at 11.
Oh shit, Tammy, he will never let me forget that morning.
No, we're gonna recreate that. That's a short film. I don't know. You don't know that yet, but we're gonna do that. You don't have to participate in it. Just voiceover.
This is when we can do these kind of things and present them to the state. It's really awesome. They get to know their section manager.
Before I got derailed by Brad, when I grew up, was up near Canada, and so any February weather that doesn't involve snow is warm. It's fine. I'm out all winter and nothing but maybe a sweater, unless it gets well below freezing, and then I'll put a jacket on. But yeah, I'm now this time of year, I don't go out. Yeah, I don't go outside during the day at all.
I don't care who you are. It's hot.
Yeah, it's hot. That's all there is to it. Give me that February weather all year long. I'm good.
It's 84 degrees here right now and 74% humidity. Humidity is not that bad, but I think this cloud cover's got it cooled off some because it was before that came over. I was out there grilling lunch, and it was hot, bad hot.
We got full sun here. I don't know what. I mean, maybe you guys just have some clouds up where you are, but we've had full sun this whole time. I've been watching the birds outside because in my office I can, see outside and do things like that. I can watch the birds. We're not frying them with radio waves yet.
Well, it's cloudy here. I just looked out the window. It's off to my right, and I don't know what the rest of the day is going to bring, but at least it gives us a break from the heat. Then tomorrow I've got to work on another ham radio related project. Oh, I'm trying to finish up the Fred Fish Award.
Nice.
I got less than 100 grids to go. I've got 98 grids left, and so my wife offered to help me.
You got to go buy an RV tomorrow?
No, I already have Damon Challenger 37.5-foot RV.
I didn't know that. When did you get that?
Oh yeah, you didn't. Yeah, I didn't tell you about that.
Oh boy, this is going to be an offline conversation.
Mostly.
I'll get a drink. You can tell me about it. This will be good.
Anyway, it's actually not. It's not going to stay ours. So I'll tell you the whole story later, Brad.
So it's kind of like owning a boat. It's even better. It's not really yours. You're just using it.
Well, it's the finance. We're providing the financing. Let me put it that way.
Are you doing the idea I came up with?
The one with hot chicks?
No, no.
Okay. I just
No,
checked.
I know better than that. All right, go ahead. Tell your story. Then you can fill me in with the details later.
So my wife has a half sister who's a little younger than she is, KD8JOT, Paula, and her husband is also a ham, KD8DCQ. They're both retired. And so Lee was thinking the way for me to get those very thinly populated grid squares out in Seven Land was for them to buy an RV and to drive out there and work me on 6-meter FT8. And that's what's happening. We bought this RV. It's actually going to wind up. It'll become Paula and Bob's, and they'll pay us.
That was my idea. Yep, you're doing my idea.
Hey, Lee thinks it's her idea, but if it's your idea, I'm
no, good. Even better. It got it done.
Yes.
So you need to let me know if you ever need a driver or you need somebody to go out and hit one of those 7 land locations, because Ronnie and I love to travel. Set up a field rig, we're good to go. We'll take that RV and we'll go wherever you want. I can work from anywhere with my setup, for the office. Well,
my wife and my sister-in-law and her husband, they're on this. The RV is sitting in a friend of mine's. I've got a friend of mine, George Mendez, that's a mechanic, and he's got a lockup for vehicles behind his shop. So the RV is over there. We've done a little bit of work on it. I've got one of these fiberglass tilt-over push-up masts. Goes up to about 25 feet.
I gotta say this. God.
I got a 5-element Yagi to go on it. They've got an ICOM 706 Mark II-G. My wife said that I really need to quit being a piker and buy a linear for the RV. She said I should get one of those small 500-watt solid-state linears that'll run off 120 volts. And I said, yeah, well, those aren't cheap. And she just looked at me. She said, well, I know they're not cheap, but I'm sure you could figure out how to pay for it.
Wow.
How bad do you want that Fred Fish reward, big boy?
Yeah.
Really?
So now, okay. This is all great stuff. But I got to ask you the big question.
Mm-hmm.
Please, God, tell me you're going to park it on that property in Edisto when you're done. Please.
Probably.
Please. At least for a day and take a picture.
Probably. It won't be parked there all the time, but it will probably go down there at some point, and I will take a picture, and I know why you want the picture. The problem right now.
We'll doctor it up and make it look like real shitty, though, just so you can send it to those other 2 ladies.
It would complete that narrative. But in order to do that, let's see, you still haven't been out there, have you?
No.
Well,
no. I've heard about it. I've heard about it. I know there's grass to be cut, but that's about it.
Yeah. Well, I've got a trail that goes in there so you can bring a truck in there, but RV is just under 13 feet tall. So I'm going to have to do some more tree work when I go down later this summer. But at some point, yes, that RV will be out there, and I will get suitable pictures. And hell, I'll probably mail them to that zoning and planning office in Charleston County.
Yes.
And I got to figure out how to work an upended middle finger into it. But
we can do it. We can do it. No problem.
Photoshop.
It's already done. We'll do it in post.
Get a foam one.
Yeah, we'll think of something.
Just give them a care package with the Stone Cold foam middle finger with the pictures, and we'll just mail them the whole deal. It'll be great.
I'd like to actually frame the picture and mail it to them, just so just for the full effect.
Can you hire me as a delivery person? I want to see their reaction when they open it. I want to deliver it. I'll even do it for free. I just want to watch it.
Oh, yeah. We won't do that until the house gets built on that property.
Okay. All right. I understand.
So, yeah, because I don't want to have any issues related to either the Charleston County planning folks about the house plans, or God forbid, I don't want them to call across town to DHEC's Office of Coastal Resource Management, because that property is partly under the control of OCRM.
You don't want cousin Eddie out there emptying the sanitation tank into the marsh back there in their underwear, right?
Well, I don't want cousin Eddie to do that, but that's not the big problem. The big problem.
Everybody knows the scene I'm talking about.
The big problem is that the Office of Coastal Resource Management is responsible for things like telling you where that septic system can be.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be in a position where they look at this big multi-acre piece of land and they say, well, damn, brother, there ain't a single spot on this land anywhere where you could put a leach field. Hate that for you. Yeah, I don't know how you can build that house, because my cousin, she probably ain't going to approve the house plans if you can't put a septic system in.
That's true.
Yeah, it could get interesting.
Good.
And I've got a wooden stake up. It's been up since I bought the property, and the guy who mows the lawn, NJ4F, Dave Fusler, he asked me about that stake and why the heck I left it there, because it'd be a lot easier if he could mow around it. I said, don't touch it. DHEC put it in there. The Office of Coastal Resource Management has determined that's where the leach lines are going. So don't ever touch that. That's
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they came out and told me where the septic system would have to go, and they even identified where the well would have to be dug.
Wow.
Well, it takes the guesswork out of it, right?
Oh, yeah, I didn't have to get some guy named Luther with a wooden stick out there dowsing. When I lived in North Carolina, that's how the well got dug there.
Well, you shouldn't have any problem finding water.
No.
No. Water is not the problem. Drinkable water is more of a problem.
Yeah. They got stuff to take care of that.
Yeah. But it's
all right, guys.
It's going to be an adventure.
We've been at this an hour.
All right.
This is good. We will be back. For those of you watching, we'll be back at 11 p.m. with another round. I'm not sure who all is going to be here, but Mark and I will be here. We'll pick some people up and see how things are going. But like we said earlier, we weren't able to make visits. So we wanted to do something to get out to the masses and show what the great people of the greater state of South Carolina are doing for Field Day 2020 during all this. It's just craziness. I don't know any other way to describe it. It's just crazy. Mark?
I think your first phrase nailed it, dumpster fire.
It has been a dumpster fire of a year.
Mm-hmm.
It really has. So
you don't need to say anything else. That right there gives the appropriate mental image.
Yes, it does. All right. So appreciate everybody stopping in, and thanks to Bill Marine, who just out of the blue came in. That was
great. Nice to have Bill with us. It's good to have Jim in from the Florence Club. I hope those guys don't have any weather issues over there. And it was nice to see John Gendron.
And Jim popped in. That was real nice. I know he said he was in his backyard, but he set up out there just like outside in his backyard, just like you would doing a real field day. So, in the spirit of it.
Is in the spirit of field day. Absolutely. All right. Well, we'll be back at 11.
That's right. News at 11.
That's
we'll
it.
See you then.
11.
See you guys.
Yeah.